Welcome back, Pontiac High School students. This is lesson 3.5, where we're going to start to look at committees in Congress and their role in passing legislation or passing laws. Again, I apologize for some of the formatting issues within the setup, but it is the best that I can do at this time. So, committees. Why do we have committees? Well, the idea here is that too many bills are potential laws. Too many bills are introduced in the House and the Senate to possibly have debates on all of them. When any senator or any representative can introduce an unlimited number of bills, it's simply too much for everybody to debate every one of those. So committees help to filter out a lot of that work. Congressional committees divide the work of Congress into specific areas of law where you have representatives and senators who focus on that particular area. Where most of this work happens is in something called a standing committee. A standing committee is a permanent committee which handles most of the bills in their particular area of expertise. So if you're on a particular standing committee, some examples are down here: agriculture, judiciary, which is judges, budget, armed services. Then any bill which primarily deals with, let's say you're on agriculture, okay? Any bill that primarily deals with agriculture or farming is going to come to you first as a member of the standing committee on agriculture. That way we don't have representatives who have no knowledge of agriculture sitting down and really working on that issue. All right, I'm gonna have to, do things this way today. All right, so committee assignments. Again, here's an example of where my formatting is a little bit off. The House has 19 standing committees. So 19 different committees that meet regularly and focus on a particular issue. The Senate has 17. So there's a lot of overlap here, but there's some that the House do that the Senate doesn't do, and vice versa. Each committee has 10 or more members. You can have some committees that are actually quite large and have 20 or more. But since these committees do most of the work of government, a congressman really wants to be on the most important committees. That is a plum assignment. That is something that they really want to do. You want to be on the budget committee because you get to assign a lot of dollars going to a lot of different areas if you're on the budget committee. So those are kind of the best jobs to have. And they usually go to more senior congressmen, people who have been there for a long time. Now, the party's role in these committees is important. Political parties choose their members for each committee. So the leadership of a political party within a particular house, the House of Representatives, the political party leadership there, has a role in assigning members to the committees. The majority party, okay, the party with more members, in the House of Representatives, there are more Republicans than Democrats. So the Republican Party is always going to have more committee members in any committee than the Democrats. So if you're voting strictly on party lines, all Republicans vote yes, all Democrats vote no, it's always going to pass if the majority party has its way. So it's a big thing when you're the majority party. Now, a senior member of the majority party generally becomes the chairperson of the committee. So if you're a majority party member and you're assigned to a particular committee and you have been in Congress for a very long time, you get to be the chairperson of that committee. So that's an important role of parties and of seniority in committees. Now, the big guy, the committee that you really want to be on, is the House Rules Committee. There is no committee more powerful than the House Rules Committee because it is the traffic cop of the lower house. No bills are going to be passed without the support of the House Rules Committee. It determines the schedule for debate by the entire House. So if the House is going to debate a bill, which it has to do before it can pass it, the House Rules Committee has to put it on the schedule for debate. If the House Rules Committee never schedules your bill for debate by the entire House, then that bill cannot pass and it is dead. The House Rules Committee, it is very important. Now in the Senate, Majority Leader has a lot of that power. So the Majority Leader gets to schedule the bill. It's not a committee member, it's just that individual. Now, select committees are not standing committees. These are committees that exist only for a specific circumstance in a specific case. They're also limited in the amount of time that they exist. So you might create a select committee to investigate some particular issue. The Speaker of the House or the Senate Majority Leader, so the Speaker of House being kind of the most important member of the House, and the Senate Majority Leader having that role there, is going to select your membership in your select committee. And you're going to have members from both parties, but the majority will always be from the majority party. So whichever party has control of the Senate is going to have more members on the select committee, just as you would see on a standing committee. Congressional investigations, this is another thing that Congress is involved in. Most select committees are created to conduct investigations. That's largely what they're for. So many investigations determine how laws will impact citizens. So they look into a particular law, a particular case, or you might have, the Senate Watergate Committee, which looked at the impeachment of Richard Nixon. But not the potential impeachment of Richard Nixon at the time. Now, some investigations look into possible crimes conducted by the U.S. government, such as Richard Nixon, such as Bill Clinton back in 1999. These committees are formed to look into those particular instances. All right, conference committees, another type of committee. A joint committee and a conference committee. Joint committees include members of both the House and the Senate. That is, they're joint. They're where these two houses meet, these two chambers meet. And there are 4 standing committees and several select committees that are joint. So there are these 4 committees that are regular meetings between the House and the Senate. The joint committees create reports about congressional activity. So it basically says this is what Congress has been up to, this is what we've done this year, and so on and so forth. Conference committees are important, but a little bit different. They're formed for a specific case on a specific bill. So the House and the Senate have to pass a law in the exact same words. They can't have any changes whatsoever. If the House passes a law or passes a bill, and the Senate passes a bill, and there are slight differences between them, they'll create a conference committee, a meeting between the House and the Senate, so that they can come to some compromises on how a bill is phrased so that they are the exact same. And then they have to be repassed by both the House and the Senate before they go on to the President to become a law. All right, so that was all for today's lesson on committees. We have some important ones down here that we need to know about, how we get assigned to committees, the House Rules Committee, don't forget that one as being the most important, select committees, etc., etc. Thank you for joining me today. That is all, and farewell.